According to the Times, Chinese fast fashion giant Shein is opening its first physical store in Paris, and the French are furious. The new shop sits atop the BHV Marais department store. I hope I pronounced that correctly. With a view of Eiffel Tower, with the Eiffel Tower. It's a beautiful place. I was there a couple of summers ago when my family and I lived in Paris for a month. Employees and politicians, including the mayor, protested what they called a symbol of fast fashion invading French heritage. The French take fashion very seriously, and they take their heritage very seriously. A petition to block the store has drawn 100,000 signatures. Lawmakers are backing an anti-Shein law, adding taxes and ad bans for ultra-cheap imports. Luxury brands like La Sleep Francais are pulling out of BHV Marais in protest. Shein's chairman, Donald Tang, calls the movement homage to French creativity. But in Paris, cheap miniskirts and mass-made berets may be the ultimate fashion faux pas. And my script did give me the pronunciation for faux pas, but I did know that one. Okay, what's the real message here? Shein and fast fashion, fast cheap fashion is taking over the world. There's nothing we can do about it unless you decide you don't want it. You don't have to buy it. That's all you can do. Let's dig a little deeper here. Now, I'm being a little bit glib. You could say you could always pass legislation making it illegal, but where do you draw the line? Because modern capitalism, and believe it or not, French is a capitalist society. People in America think, oh, they're a bunch of commies over there and socialists. What they don't realize is there are more people of working age in, say, 25 to 55 in France actually working than there are in the United States. They have a very high employment rate. So yes, it is one of the largest economies in the world. It's a top 10 economy in the world. And they are very much a part of the capitalistic system. But there's no doubt about it, there is more regulation than in the United States. There are more socialistic influences on companies and how workers are treated than in a place like the United States. There's no doubt about that. So you could pass laws, but the whole premise of modern day capitalism, as laid out by Adam Smith, is the concept of comparative advantage. If one country can manufacture or sew things better, faster, cheaper than another, and another company can design purses better, then each country should do the things that it does better and trade and let the chips fall where they may. That is traditionally how worldwide capitalism has worked. Is it perfect? No. Does it create complete fairness or a level playing field for everyone? No. But does it reduce poverty and starvation better than any other economic system in the history of the world? Yes, it does. I mean, if you've ever seen one of these charts going back from like 10,000 BC up until the late 1800s, the average, gross domestic product in a country, that the productivity of the typical person is like this. It's almost a straight line. There's almost no growth because people were subsistence farmers and barely made enough to live, or they starved to death. And then when capitalism started, all of a sudden it's this giant hockey stick up. China in particular, as recently as 1990, you had about 70% of the population living in poverty. Today, hardly anyone is living, we have poor people, but hardly anyone is living in extreme poverty. That is because they have embraced a version of capitalism where they are creating products and selling their products around the world and getting paid for their services. As a great theologian once said, the only thing worse than being exploited by capitalism is not being exploited by capitalism. And if the French want to kick Shein out, I'm sure that it's their country, they can do what they want. But what you can't do is stop worldwide capitalism. And Shein is on to something. They realize, okay, there are a lot of people, especially young people, who want the latest fashions. They don't want a long-term commitment. They're not like me. This coat, I have a long-term commitment to. And apologies to our podcast. I am wearing a coat. It's handmade. It's from a Savile Row tailor. Sorry to sound like I'm bragging. And it has a history behind it. It's made of bamboo grass. It is the opposite of fast fashion. I'm embarrassed to tell you how much it costs, but it costs a lot. And it's been through a lot. You see patches here. You see patches back here. This is not a part of the original design. This coat, for me, has a history. It's been all over the world with me. The patches here are because it was in a fire in Serbia, where I happened to be staying on a houseboat and I accidentally placed it too close to a light. It went up in flames. I didn't want to throw it away. So I had my tailor add patches to it. So it's coming on 20 years old, but I still like it. It's comfortable. It fits well. This is the opposite of fast fashion. And guess what? I don't get to tell the world they have to be like me. There are plenty of people who want to buy something, wear it once to a party, throw it away. Is it good for the environment? No. It is filling up landfills. It's causing pollution. It's destroying oceans. But we'll have to get to environmental regulation on another day. People do want it. Not everyone wants to have a 20-year-old jacket that they wear. And it's a big world. That's okay. Now, let's look at some other facts on this particular situation. There's an anti-Shein law that's supposed to add 10 euros per item. That's a sneaky way of dealing with them. Some state banks have pulled funding over Shein partnerships. A watchdog there in Paris is fining Shein $40 million for misleading ads. Okay, that's a fine line there because you could argue every ad is misleading at some point. Typically, you're not allowed to tell a bold-faced lie that is demonstrably proven incorrect. But misleading, I mean, every ad is misleading. You see a beer commercial and it's a bunch of young, beautiful people with six-pack abs drinking their beer and frolicking on the beach. That's misleading because a lot of beer drinkers, especially people who drink a lot of beer, don't have six-pack abs. They have lots of blubber and lots of rolls. So it does seem a bit selective to start saying one company we don't like because they've sourced things more efficiently than others is guilty of deceptive advertising. We'll see. That's the beauty of worldwide capitalism, is there's no one size fits all. Each country gets to make their own rules. There is such a thing as sovereignty. Although recently in the United States, we're trying to tell Brazil how to run their country and other countries. But for the most part, there is still some sovereignty, and it's a big world. People get to run countries the way they want.